doing more fitting of these rocker legs. Now I'm chopping the baseline to where the shoulders will sit from the bottom of the rocker, or the bottom of the leg to the rocker. Right now I'm fixing a mistake, or trying to catch up a little bit. Had to do some fixing, some changing a little bit, and make sure they're all the same. And hopefully we'll have this thing standing up. So I'm just gonna chop a little bit, and then I'll fit the leg.
Hey, Court.
Hey, Court.
All right. Cabinet Systems Inc. says nice bandsaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, any questions, anything, send them in. It's Friday, we made it. We are here. I know we've got a lot of new people joining in.
Me. Yeah, just fitting these bridle joints. Right now I'm chopping the baseline to mate with this surface. And per usual, I'm doing a little, not necessarily fixing, but I'm making sure both sides are identical, and I had a little discrepancy, so had it fit for the most part, and then had to go back and move a baseline to make sure they both all line up the same on each side. And typically it seems like when I get one fit and have to move it, the one that I have to move was already fit and fit nicely. So that's what I'm doing now. This one was already nice, and I just had to move it back about a 32nd of an inch.
Whoa. Hi, Renee.
Rocker survived.
Whew. Testament to the durability. Hello, Troy. Hey, Mary. Really enjoyed your Q&A earlier. That was fun. It's a good time for me to remind y'all, you can catch Mary at 1 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, Monday through Friday. Joseph is here, obviously, at 2 p.m. Monday through Friday Eastern. And then on Wednesdays, you can also catch me with Women of Woodworking. I think I'm going to adjust the time for next week. I'm not sure quite yet. Last week felt kind of late, and it really picked up kind of late. But then I was really tired. I'm an old lady. So, yeah, lots of ways to learn woodworking. Lots of free resources out there. Good way to kind of break up your day. So, thank you for joining us. Oh, we got the whole Kozar fam. Kelsey
Whole Kozar fam.
Yes.
Right. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
side and see if it worked.
Hey, Grayson.
Hey, Grayson.
Oh, there will be no guest Ham and Maddie appearances today. Sorry. Oh, for future reference, okay. Any other day, our kids are usually interrupting by the end of it, but hopefully today they won't. Hi, Carla. Welcome.
Carla, you tune in every day and we appreciate it so much.
Yes, and she's also the one that put the bug in my ear about adding them to YouTube, and that's, I think, going to be very beneficial, and already seeing good results from that. So yes, so that's a reminder. Joseph Thompson Woodworks on YouTube. We just started adding, I think, as of Tuesday this week, you can catch these live streams on YouTube. So it'll be there forevermore. Grayson wants to know what you are building today.
This is part of a rocking stool. So right now I'm cutting the joint between the bottom of this leg and where it joins the rocker. So this is a miniature of the stool I'm building.
Carla says, hey, big guy.
Okay, let's see if this thing fits. Trash in there. So I made this a little more difficult for me as far as hiding any imperfections. I really don't have a shoulder on the front or back of these legs, so you really have to be, I'm talking about in here, any gaps will show. So normally you can get away with a little bit if you have a little shoulder.
Grayson said that's cool.
Thanks, Grayson. Okay. Get out of there.
Can you hold the like two pieces out a little bit so that they can see what you're putting together? Like, no, the joint.
Oh,
Yeah, there
These
you
two.
go. Perfect. A little bit that direction. Yeah. Cool. All right. Need to get some lights, like the landing crew airports.
mm-hmm.
Direct traffic. Not quite.
Of course not.
Hey, Mimi. Yeah, seeing a lot of new names coming through. Tell us where you're from, what you're working on today, what you're doing.
This must have fit the other one because this is like acting like it's brand new, but that's all right. Go ahead and have it fit. Just because you label them left and right doesn't mean you will remember.
I'm just going to ask the rocking stool. Yes. One of the legs.
Okay. Looks like I got a, obviously, that in view. So this is still, the ends are still proud and have to be trimmed back to kind of in this plane. But it's fitting pretty good. See, I got a little gap on one shoulder, which means I need to come back to this side, raise it up to that height, and then the middle of the same to have it fully seat. But it's probably a 64th of an inch off. It's kind of challenging to get this thing apart.
Troy D asks, are the shoulders cut square to the edge on the rocker pieces?
So I'm guessing you're talking about this vase. In the front, yes, because there's a flat on the front where you will be able to pitch forward and sit flat. So the shoulder is 90 degrees on this first one. On the back, the shoulder is actually a radius. So that one's a little more challenging. But this one seems to be giving me all I want to. So chop this guy.
Carla says, I'm loving seeing this come together.
Yay.
Thanks, Carla. It's neat. What type of wood is that? Carla asks. Black walnut.
Black walnut.
Mm-hmm. So, over the years, black walnut is one of the darker, if not, is it the only?
Pretty much only dark domestic wood.
Yeah, so.
I mean, yeah, one kind of available at least.
And it's also one of those woods, I think a lot of people try to kiln dry.
Well, what happens is commercially it gets steamed. It gets kiln dried, but then it is steamed, and that's to get the most heartwood look out of it as you can. Because what will happen is when you steam it, the dark heartwood will kind of bleed into the sapwood, and you get more dark colored wood, but it kind of muddies it up. And this is all air dried stuff.
So the air dried has usually a lot more depth and color. When you kiln dried or steam it, I mean, it cooks the wood. So yes, it makes the color run, but you don't end up with as interesting pieces.
It's definitely not as nice to work.
Yeah. No. And you can't bend it, steam bend it.
Well, there's some people doing some stuff recently that they're letting you be able to steam bend it, but it requires soaking it for days, and where air dried stuff really does better, and it's just easier to to bend.
So it's becoming much more expensive and much more sought after, and yeah.
All right.
Good question.
Mm-hmm. One more time. Where's my rocker?
Is this?
I wonder, I think I had the wrong one from this.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's much better.
Heard that.
Much better. Yeah, alright, so there's that.
Oh, it's an awesome shape.
Let's add some junk in there because it's not quite pulling back. It's alright.
So any of you woodworkers or wood appreciators out there, what is your favorite type of wood? If you know. I'm sitting here asking myself the same question. I think I like cypress just because it has that personal.
Yeah.
We just have a lot of it around us. That personal connection means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what was yours? I used to remember.
Oh, me?
What was yours?
Pear.
That's right, that's right. It's been so long since you worked with it.
No, it's just not
That's another one that's not.
hard to get. I think I was fitting the left one to the right one. Couldn't figure out what was going on.
I'm glad you caught yourself when you did.
Yeah.
So for any newcomers, Joseph, you want to share what you're doing? Just fitting a...
Yeah, I'm chopping the no way.
I thought you were about to make fun of something. was prepared for sarcasm. Sorry.
Whoa, why would you? Why would you think that would happen?
When you say the word chop, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, here's a question. How are you determining where to knife each side of the bridle joint? That's from Troy.
How am I determining that? Let's see. The angles were predetermined when I did my full scale drawing, and then my model. Then I actually take the physical leg I have in the rocker and have layout lines on the rocker, and then transfer it to the leg. That's how I'm getting my lines, and then I'm making sure both front legs are marked out from each other as well, so they're identical. And yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Some good questions. And again, these are added to YouTube, usually by the end of the evening, if not the next day. So you can always go back and reference them later. If there's something you forgot or want to reference later. And I guess I should share that your channel is Joseph Thompson Woodworks. That might help. Whew, been a long week.
I've had to do 2 of these instead of 1 in the time allotted.
Hey, as long as the questions keep coming, we'll keep going. So I'm guessing it obviously was a little too snug, or is it just needing some?
No, I just had this is a whole nother leg. This is this is the other
There's
side.
4 going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I picked up the wrong one, honestly,
you're
the first
fine.
time. So went ahead and fit it, and then go ahead and
There
fit
is no wrong leg.
Yeah. So then, this is kind of how I guess any woodworking or a lot of chair making goes. I think it's why I like it so much. It's all problem solving, and that's not something I thought I'd really enjoy, but that's all it is. It's getting 2 parts that aren't necessarily on a straight plane and straight line, and then figuring out what has to be taken away in order for both parts to come together. So it's like a big puzzle, and I think that might be. I'm kind of thinking that's what I really like, and I hadn't really thought about that a ton. But there's always this this puzzle to solve. So I think that's what I really like. So right now, let's see. See here? There's a gap here on the bottom of this shoulder. Pretty uniform. And then on this side, there's a slight gap in the back here where it touches in the front. And then in the front here, that same side that needs some material taken away in the front, it's also touching in the front over here. So that lets me know, that kind of confirms in a few different dimensions which part has to be removed. So I know that it's basically this front part on the front and the side of this leg that has to be removed for it to fully seat. And it's not much. It's definitely not much.
Carla asked, what was the first piece you ever made?
First piece I ever made was a
Boat.
Well, right before that, there was
That's
a
right.
it was like a blanket chest, but it was my toolbox, and that was when I was building boats. But it was basically it kind of looked like a shaker style blanket chest, a lift up top, single drawer, about this wide and this tall, dovetailed on all four corners. That was my very first piece. And then it was a boat.
That's right, because you did ship's cabinetry.
That's right.
And then
Yeah, the ship's cabinetry was before the boat building, which is how that box came in, and it's kind of you build your toolbox. But then my first commission was a 4-poster bed.
That was mahogany. I guess you want to tell them where you went to boat building school.
It was in British Columbia on a little island, Gabriel Island. I don't think the school is. I think it was in a shipyard right here on the island, and I think there was some conflict or something with that. So I don't think they're still going, unfortunately.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's where I went to school, and then when I came home, started doing furniture commissions. Even though, I just when I came back home, I thought I could kind of do furniture on my own instead of doing more boats. So that's kind of why I went that direction. And a few years doing that, I decided to go to Maine to the Center for Furniture Craftsmanship and get some more schooling, I guess. So, and now, because there wasn't anything close, closest school at that time was in Wilmington, North Carolina. It was a boat building school there, and now there's Charleston Woodworking School, which should have been a whole lot closer. Okay, let's see if that works.
Cool.
So that's the fit I'm looking for too, that
Mm-hmm.
press fit. Nice and tight. That's my test.
Whew. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, Carla says, ooh, 4-post, yes. So, interesting about that commission, it ended up coming back into the family, and was a wedding gift from your mother when we got married.
Oh, that's right.
So we actually have it, which is really neat. So, and we used it for years, and then we have 2 small children, and they're pretty fearless, so we had to take it down for the time being. But it is beautiful. And then Joseph had to build me a step so I could get in it. So,
It's pretty tall.
yeah. And the step is really nice too. It's black walnut. Any other questions? We've got some new joiners. He's fitting these double bridle joints to make up the rocker legs of
Yeah.
the rocking stool he's working on.
Yeah, so right now I'm fitting the shoulders on the back leg, and the shoulders are actually a radius. So not super straightforward. It's not. Just kind of want to see where I'm at here. Got some trash in there. Call it trash, it's wood shavings.
Troy has another good question. Will you just use glue to hold, or will you pin each joint?
So this double bridle joint is a tremendous amount of glue surface. It would be totally fine with just the glue. I'd feel really confident with that. But pin joint, you can't ever really go wrong with that. And being a chair, it's going to get a good bit of abuse. It wouldn't be a bad idea. I guess determining what to pin it with. Sometimes I've used bronze or brass pins, or wood. Obviously, would be the obvious choice. And it definitely wouldn't hurt to make it another little reinforcement there. And what I'd probably do if I did that would be I'd probably do 2 pins, just cause. And then you'd have to determine whether I wanted it to go all the way through or kind of be a blind pin if I didn't want to see it from the outside. All that's kind of, those are aesthetic questions, but definitely not a bad idea. I don't think it's 100% necessary. I hadn't planned on doing it, but it definitely wouldn't be a bad idea. Sure would be another little level of insurance.
So that was the first time I've seen kind of whole leg together, even though it's, there's adjustments. That was actually pretty cool to see.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Bella made an appearance. That's our Brittany Spaniel. Shot dog. Hope everyone's having a good day or night, wherever it is. Whatever it is, wherever you are. I think I'm still on day 30 something of isolation. So all right. Thank you, Carla. She says likewise to everyone. Still?
It's the wrong one again.
Oh my goodness. No way.
Sorry. You think having them labeled would kind of eliminate that, but apparently not.
Well, you're also being filmed, so
Yeah.
there's other things happening. So. Like we said, we wanted this to be a laid-back conversation. Hopefully informative. We do try to make it so we're discussing interesting things and hopefully helping people learn a little bit. All right, another question from Troy. Can you discuss what you use a chisel for all these shopper adjustments and not a shoulder plane? Is it to reduce tear out?
That would be a good point or a good reason. I was using a shoulder plane for some of it. For what I was trying to do there, I was correcting an angle. So I had, a 1/16 of an inch on the back of the shoulder diving into 0 in the front. So instead of whittling away in a distance that far with the shoulder plane, I felt chopping it with a wide chisel would give me the best results, the fastest. But yeah, I was using a shoulder plane initially. So good question.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly could have continued to do that, but it was a little bit more. I could get cut to the chase a little bit faster with what I was trying to do. Okay, so close. I got. Well, you can see. Still got to remove some on this shoulder, but yeah, so yeah, I'm touching, seated fully over here, but have about a 32nd inch gap on this back side that I'll have to dial in a little bit more. And also can see that I changed the dimension on my front legs and dropped it down about a 1/16 of an inch. And I can tell just obviously that this one's higher. If I'd go to put my piece across, you can see the angles change on that shoulder. So I'm really having to drop. I really won't be dropping this shoulder. I'm going to be dropping this shoulder down to make that all get in plane. So, and then there'll be another straight piece up here that connects the whole assembly. And then piece in between the two sides. And then how it connects to the seat.
Yeah, so the framing underneath the seat, do you have that on the model, how you plan to have it? Can you show us? Okay. So yeah, tilt it maybe down just a little bit. Perfect. So yeah, there will be two, I guess, stretchers underneath the seat.
Essentially, yeah. And
then one in the I guess the back of the...
Yeah, so, actually this part's not glued. There you go, just that part. So, on this model, obviously, I think it's just glued on there. I wasn't really worried about the amount of wood movement.
It's not weight bearing.
Yeah, and it wasn't going to really grow. The seat pretty quarter sawn-ish mahogany. It's not going to grow that much. Because how I'll attach the framing to the bottom of the seat would be, I'm probably going to make some of these pieces of brass hold downs. So I have a piece running. It's obviously big, and I have a piece running here, and I'll have pieces going between each rocker, and these will be basically, I'll have it like this. It would be something like that, really. And so this part screws into the bottom here. Then I have slotted holes across the width of the seat, so the seat can expand and contract across its width. Alternatively, I could make a tabletop buttons, which is a piece of wood that mates into this is one from a countertop or something, but basically this would go into a little slot into this piece, and this is screwed up into the bottom of the seat, and so it can be independent, but it sees down. I just think this is a little bit less or lower profile and kind of cool looking, and be something I think you guys would be interested in. So really,
hold it down like against your shirt. That way, there you go. They can kind of see. There you go.
So this is one that actually busted, so that's why I still have it. But you can see a blowout there. But essentially, you can see the idea. It's a kind of a low profile way to attach a tabletop, and pretty cool looking, I think.
It's like a little face in it.
Yeah, I think I still have. A dinosaur in my pocket.
There you go. Should start playing What's in Joseph's Pockets.
Yeah, so here's a keychain. It's like
okay, that's a small
but
one.
that's another one. It's kind of a slotted hole. Yeah, so became a keychain holder. But yeah, it's kind of neat. You just take this flat brass bar stock, 1/8 of an inch or so. I think it's a little bit thicker than that. And then I just use woodworking tools. I mean, I don't have any special metal tools. It's slightly less than 1/8 of an inch. So what I'll do is I'll change the speed on my drill press, drill out the holes, countersink them, drill multiple holes where they're slotted, and connect them with a file. I'll file it until it becomes a slot. So now, definitely don't have to have a milling machine or really special tools to use to do a little bit of metal work. And
oops. Sorry, y'all. Why does it keep reversing the camera? There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I'll connect the seat and the frame to the rocker. So yeah, but anyway, like I was saying, no really special metal tools. Just change the speed on your drill press and use. I have metal drill bits. They're just basically twist drill bits, not brad point for wood, and then files. And I'll file the corners on it. I'll take this on a piece of a flat surface with some sandpaper and lap it flat. So it's because it comes when you get the bar stock. It's kind of it's just a little bit rough. It's not dead flat. And this has been oxidized, but this has been flattened. You can kind of tell the difference of the sheen, and it's more noticeable when it hadn't been sitting for 2 or 3 years, however long this thing's been in here. But yeah, so brass bar stock, speedymetals.com or something, you can get them anywhere. just kind of get lengths, whatever lengths, and hacksaw them to length and drill press and files. All it is, but really, really cool way to attach a tabletop and allow for wood movement, expansion and contraction. So.
Well, we've been going for quite a bit. Does anybody have any other questions? Anything else? Are you at a good stopping point, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost got both of them done
Oh, wow.
on accident.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, while we wait to see if anybody else has any other questions, I'll just remind y'all we are here at 2 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on Instagram Live. You can also join Mary May Wood Carving on Twitch. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then I am also doing a Women of Woodworking Wednesday live. We had our first one this week. This time I think is going to change next week. We just marked Wednesday off. And yeah, so we have a great giveaway going on over there as well. So go check out that feed. That's at Women of Woodworking. So yeah, check and see if we have any other questions here. Thank you, Troy. Thank you. You have a great weekend too.
Thanks for the questions.
Yes, that was awesome. And again, these will all be added to Joseph's YouTube channel. You can find him at Joseph Thompson Woodworks. I'm also on there as Katie Thompson, and I have a couple of woodworking videos on there. We'll see what's coming there. But Joseph Thompson Woodworks, subscribe and be sure to reference these later if you need to. All right.
Have a good day.
Thanks, everyone.
Good weekend.
Yes, y'all too. We'll see you Monday.